Yeah, Sara, when you chat to her friends and family that that knew her well, she was very quirky in a lot of different ways.
She laughed with her eyes, she smiled with her eyes, she brought this aura around everyone she met, she affected.
She was the responsible one, she was the caring one, the one that would listen, the one that never judged. Yeah, she was just a great girl. She was so excited with her travel, and it was a time where she really came out of her shell.
So she decided to be an au pair nanny over in London, and she was probably the happiest she'd ever been in her whole life. My girlfriend Jodie called me in the morning and she said, have you seen the news? And I said, no. Oh, they've had a terrorist attack in London. And I said, oh yeah. And she goes, have you spoken to Sarz? I said, no, I haven't.
So during that day, I guess a bit more concern started to arise, but nothing really for us. It's something that happens to someone else. It happens overseas, it's on TV, it's got nothing to do with us.
The office was on high alert for cases to come through. We didn't know if we had any travellers over there at that time.
The real concern that arose was when the au pair family registered Sara as a missing person.
It was an evolving situation. It wasn't like we knew exactly what was going to happen and what was going on. Mark, Julie and Covermore were all working together at the same time.
That night, it was midnight, the AFP came to our home and said that we have found a passport.
We suggest you travel tomorrow. We have a body. We need to DNA test and all that sort of stuff.
It was very difficult to receive that information. Covermore had made contact to assist us with flights and to get us to London.
Covermore made the decision to go outside of the limitations of the policy, and that included paying for business class flights for Julie and Mark and her son to travel over to be with Sara.
What we know of the attack is that Sara was hit or struck from behind. She was stuck in a crowded place where she had no escape. And
stabbed in the back of the neck, stabbed in the back of her thigh, and was killed.
Both Jules and I were in shock. It's something where you can't describe.
And it was one of the situations that really got to me.
So the person from Covermore that I had the most contact with was Dave Turner. His empathy and compassion was, second to none. He did a fantastic job.
You've got to just deliver on what they need, at the same time deliver what the job needs, at the same time manage the actual logistics of the entire situation, which is a feat in itself.
I just wasn't in a good place to organise anything, but it all just happened.
Hearing that person on the other end of the phone, that you knew that they were looking after your best interest and that they were caring for you. I kind of welcomed those phone conversations when they came through.
We wanted to make everything as easy as possible for the family.
So the day we viewed her body was, I guess, the final confirmation that it was definitely Sara. It was so heart-wrenching.
And then I held her hand, and Mark and I held her hand together, and then from then on she came with us.
Mark and Julie made it quite clear that they wanted to accompany Sara's body on the return back home, which logistically is quite difficult.
As soon as she was released, we could go, and Covermore just made that all happen.
So from our time in London, both Jules and I had this concept.
We want to give back and help people who have suffered shock, sudden death.
We've created Sarz Sanctuary, a not-for-profit foundation. We want to give back to people who have suffered traumatic grief. So Covermore have made a donation to Sara Sanctuary, and they're also looking at other ways that they can include Benestar, an employee assistance program, where it gives back to employees in a role such as counsellors, psychologists, and all different counselling programs.
It's great to see that Covermore are supporting Mark and Julia with Sarz Sanctuary financially, and that makes me feel really good that we're continuing to be a part of this community.
It was so incredible what they could do for us in our time of need, and they did that without question. It was something that we didn't ask for. They just did it because of their empathy and compassion to their clients.
And Covermore, were just absolutely amazing.